Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that, believe it or not, research shows is a way better predictor of long-term success than just raw talent. And the best part, it's something you can actually build. We're talking about grit. So have you ever looked at really successful people and just wondered, what's their secret? What really separates them from everyone else? Is it just that they were born with a higher IQ or some incredible talent? Or is it something else? Something, deeper, and maybe something that's actually in our control? Well, it turns out a ton of research points to the same answer. The most reliable predictor of success is not just some gift you're born with. Nope, it's a quality that you can actually build and grow yourself. All right, so let's get into it. To figure out how we can build this stuff, we've got to first get a really clear picture of what this grit thing actually is. So the researcher who really put this on the map, Angela Duckworth, she defines grit as this powerful mix of two things, perseverance and passion, but specifically for long-term goals. It's all about stamina. It's about sticking with your future, not just for a week or a month, but day in, day out, and working like crazy to make that future a reality. Now, here's what's so cool about this. Grit isn't some magic trait you either have or you don't. It's actually built on four key pillars. Think of them as psychological assets that you can actively work on and develop. Okay, so what are they? They are interest, practice, purpose, and hope. Let's break each one of these down because how they work together is really the secret sauce to building grit. Okay, first up, interest. And look, we're not just talking about something that's kind of neat for a weekend. This is about finding a genuine, deep-down passion that lasts. It's about committing to it for the long haul and really resisting that temptation to just, jump to the next shiny new thing. All right, pillar number 2 is practice. And this is a huge but. We're not just talking about putting in the hours. It has to be a specific kind of practice. It's called deliberate practice. This is all about structured, focused effort that is 100% designed to make you better, not just mindlessly going through the motions. So how do you do it? Well, it follows this really specific 4-step loop. Step 1, you set a clear stretch goal, something that's just a little bit outside your comfort zone. Step 2, you give it your absolute undivided focus, no multitasking. Step 3, you get immediate and actually useful feedback. And finally, step 4, you reflect on that feedback, tweak your approach, and you do it all over again. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Okay, number 3 is purpose. And honestly, this one is the real game changer. This is that deep down belief that what you're doing matters, that your personal effort is tied to something bigger than just you, something that actually helps other people. You've probably heard that classic story of the 3 bricklayers, right? Someone asks them what they're doing. The first guy says, "I'm laying bricks." That's a job. The second one says, "I'm building a wall." That's a career. But the third one, he says, "I'm building a house of God." Now that is a calling. See? Purpose is what turns a simple task into a mission. And that brings us to the final pillar, the one that kind of holds it all together, hope. And let's be clear, this isn't just wishful thinking or blind optimism. This is a tough, resilient belief that you can get better, that your efforts will pay off, and that setbacks, well, they're not failures. They're just opportunities to learn. It's basically the definition of having a growth mindset. You know that famous Henry Ford quote? It just nails this idea perfectly. Your mindset, your core belief in whether or not you can improve, that's the fuel that keeps your engine running when the road gets rough. Okay, so now we know what grit is, we know the 4 pillars it's built on, but the big question is, how do we actually build environments, in our own families, in our workplaces, that help this stuff grow? For families, a big part of it is just modeling that persistence yourself and having that firm but supportive vibe. There's this awesome strategy called the one hard thing rule. Basically, everyone in the family, kids and adults, picks one challenging thing and commits to it for a while. And here's the golden rule. You are not allowed to quit on a bad day. That lesson right there is just so powerful for teaching follow-through. And you know what? This exact same idea applies to bigger groups, like teams and entire companies. Grit isn't just about hiring gritty people. It really takes off when perseverance becomes part of the culture, when it's just the way things are done around here. And the impact of creating a culture like this, it can be absolutely massive. Just look at West Point. By really focusing on leadership that builds grit, they managed to slash their dropout rate from 12% all the way down to just 2%. That's a huge difference. So how do they do it? Well, companies can start by celebrating stories of persistence, not just wins. They can make grit a core part of their official values. And they can design structured challenges, kind of like how the Seattle Seahawks run their training camps that are designed to build that mental toughness in a productive way. So it's pretty clear that grit is a superpower when it comes to achieving your goals. But let's zoom out for a second. Where does it fit into the bigger picture, the picture of a happy, fulfilling life? Okay, so think of it like this. Grit and self-discipline, those are what you'd call intrapersonal strengths. They're all about how you manage yourself. But they work best when they're balanced out with other things, like interpersonal strengths, social intelligence, gratitude, and intellectual strengths, like being curious and having a real zest for life. So the big takeaway here is that, yeah, grit is one of the single best predictors of success we know of, but it's not the only thing that matters. A truly good life really needs a mix of all these character strengths, the ones that help you achieve, the ones that help you connect with people, and the ones that help you just engage with the world with a sense of wonder. And that really leaves us with one final thought, a question for you to take with you. Now that you know the real power of passion and perseverance, what hard thing in your life will you choose to stick with, especially when it gets tough?